What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Liv in Scream 2022. So this is part of my ongoing character breakdown series, I guess we can call it, of Scream 2022. We talked about several characters already: Wes, Sydney, Dewey. We talked about a lot of them, and I wanted to focus on Liv. Now, this is actually the first one, this first character, this first video talking about a character after I've seen the movie a second time. So I finally watched it a second time, and so I have different opinions, I think, now, or some are more enhanced, some are a little bit more lowered on certain characters, and so kind of a fresh of breath air in terms of how I see these characters. Now, Liv, I've always liked her. I mean, the first time I saw the movie, I liked her character a good amount. I think I kind of have the same issue with her as maybe everybody else does, if you do have an issue with her, in that she's not in the movie. She's I make fun of Vince a lot for having like 10 seconds of screen time. she is definitely in it, okay? She's honestly in it, I would argue, almost as much as like Amber, who literally is a ghost face, if you don't count the reveal on, right? Or I guess when she shoots Liv on, then I think Liv and Amber actually have very similar screen time. Same thing with like Chad. These are all characters that have very much the same amount of screen time as each other. Liv, the first time I saw her, I liked her. I did a ranking video of all the characters. I kind of put her mid-tier because I think she was pretty darn good for what they gave her and what she was able to accomplish, and just, I couldn't put her higher because she's, if you're in the movie for 5 or 7 minutes or whatever, you can only go so far with that. But watching it a second time, I actually feel even more passionately about everything I thought about her specifically. I in that video, I talked about, kind of re-reviewing the movie. Liv is a good example of a character that moved up in terms of how much I liked. Richie, I think, continued to move up. Tara pretty much stayed the same because I already loved Tara. And Liv moved up too. Liv really did, because every scene she was in, I liked her. And I actually, you can't convince yourself the second time watching it that you don't know who the killers are. You can try. You can maybe do the Dumbledore spell where you take the memory out of your head. You can attempt that, but I don't think it would work really well. And so this, is, on one hand, you can't ever look at her and say, oh man, I really buy it. At the other hand, though, you can say, you know what, though, looking at it with a fresh lens, I can see, or at least I can appreciate what they tried to do with her. I do, because, well, like I said, she kind of was basically a second Amber. Now, she had a little bit more spunk to her. She was a little bit more happy, throughout the movie. And she really sold some very select scenes that I was really, happy with, to really, again, now, like, when watching it, you can't forget Amber's the killer and pretend it's Liv, but you can say, oh, you know what, though? That's sketchy. Like, she kind of comes across as somebody that would be a red herring. She was the female, if you can, separate it from, all right, was there a second red herring for like a Richie? Was there anybody else that could have been a red herring for maybe Chad? They tried it like once. And then Liv, even with Chad, though, it was very unbelievable considering we saw the trailer, right? So then Liv, it's like, well, I can see her being a red herring for that female Ghostface. It's really either Amber or her. I don't think it could be both, right? In fact, I don't think there's any way it could be both, but it could be one of them. Some of my favorite scenes specifically were her talking to Mindy. I thought was phenomenal. I kind of forgot how good that scene was with are you afraid of me, Mindy? And it's like, she did really good there. And the other scene I was very impressed. Now, again, I'm talking about 2 scenes. She was in maybe, 5 or 6. So I'm kind of picking like a third of that. I think this is not an insult to her whatsoever. It's not an insult to her actress. Right? I remember this was her first major acting role, and I thought she did phenomenal. Okay, I really couldn't have asked anything else from her. But when she was talking to Mindy towards the very end, to kind of put that seed of doubt where it's like, oh, you're kind of strange, you're kind of weird, but you're also kind of unhinged almost, okay? And people are already kind of suspecting you a little bit, so it's not helping your case. And then when she comes back into the house right before, or as she dies, I thought she did kind of incredible in one of the most, well, it's hard to say it, right? But it's like, in terms of real, like how you'd maybe feel a person would actually act in a circumstance. I think Scream is pretty okay in general of being realistic, all right? And they try, I think, the best they can. Obviously, Ghostface being 10 feet taller than some of these characters is a bit of an issue. But I think in terms of how they act, and obviously they're a little bit smarter than most, survivors and stuff in other movies. But Liv, when finding Chad, the way she's like breathing, like she's kind of like panicking and she can't like get words out, and everybody's kind of accusing her, but she looks horrible in that situation, right? She was gone. Chad got, we thought Chad was dead. She has blood on her hands. She can't like speak. She's saying like, I didn't kill him. She didn't even say when she ran in that she found Chad. They had to like tell her that after she had blood on her hands, then she said it, right? So it's like, okay, well, you sound very sketchy, you're panicking, but it's like you could just be a really good, you could be doing a really good job at acting. You could be fooling everybody, kind of like how Amber and Richie did throughout the whole movie, right? And then to find out that no, like that was her genuine reaction, I would very safely say, in terms of believability of like how a character would react to anything in this movie, I think that one scene, that one piece of dialogue from her was number one, and maybe even in terms of like acting performance, I'd maybe sell it that far. Maybe Tara in the very beginning, because she was super good pretty much throughout the entire thing, but specifically the beginning. But I was really impressed with that. I remember because I was watching it the second time, my sister wanted to watch it for the first time ever, and so I was really trying to like analyze every scene. And in that moment, I was like, this is super cool, because she's like breathing too heavily. She can't even get words out. She's like freaking out. She's saying like, I'm not. And then she kind of slows down, right? Which is like, I'm not the killer. And she has to almost kind of like literally stop herself at every word to get the words out. And then she dies. Now, on the flip side, right? So talking about just how awesome, because again, I really think her character's good. I really think she actually was good. Now, on the flip side, like they didn't do anything with her, right? They kept her, and this is kind of a theme I'm noticing, and it's not a good theme, honestly, and it's just my opinion, and you can have different opinions, but as I'm going through some of these characters, right? We've gone through Wes, we've gone through Chad, I believe, now we've gone through Liv. I think we talked about all of them, right? But like, I'm starting to notice a theme where it's like they're really only in the movie, and maybe this is like normal, right? Because you have to be in the movie for a specific purpose, and what is their purpose, and we've gone over it. But Liv's purpose was, again, a red herring, was to be a red herring. Now, that is different than somebody like Wes. Wes, as I've concluded, in my opinion, was in the movie to die. His purpose in the movie was to die so you could throw a party for him and honor Wes Craven, not even Wes Hicks, the character. So that was his purpose, okay? Chad's purpose, I kind of struggle to find Chad's purpose, to be honest with you. He's one of the, like, he didn't really have anything that Mindy took most of that in terms of the intelligence away from him. Even Wes took it from him. So Chad, I've had conflicting thoughts of in general. Liv, again, her purpose in this movie was, I guess, factually different than those other two that I just mentioned. Even Mindy, right? The purpose of Mindy, it was obviously to be Randy, okay? And the purpose of Liv was to be a red herring. Liv and Amber's purpose, both of these characters' purposes in the movie, was to be kind of sketchy, to not know which one of these two did it. And that's kind of it. You know what I mean? So you take from that what you want. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you what to think about it. I appreciated her performance. I liked, her character to a great deal, I guess, for what we got from her. But even from like the get-go, right? Like they leave and Liv's like, oh, well, I have to do something. Remember when they're all sitting there talking in the beginning? And it's like, okay, well, that's the first indication that maybe you did it, because like, where are you going? Separated from the rest of them. Maybe you're going to talk to Vince, and then Vince and you are the killers. But then again, you kill Vince so quickly. And again, that's kind of the issue where they did do a good job in terms of making her a red herring only because of the Mindy conversation. I think if you didn't have her talking to Mindy at the very end, like the second to last scene she's in the film, right? If you didn't have that scene, I don't think the red herring for her character would have worked, because you just did not have enough of her in the film, just, factually. So it kind of rested upon that one scene. Now, again, she had other scenes, like she was good in the bar. I liked her a lot, actually, in the requel discussion, where she's the one who liked, Stab 8, or, obviously Star Wars The Last Jedi in that case. And Mindy said, of course you do, you have bad taste. Like, that was fun. So they did use her in a couple of different ways. I just don't think they used her enough. And maybe, I don't know. I don't even want to say like it was because of maybe the lack of experience, right? Because I really actually don't think that at all. I think she held herself up really well in the scenes she had. I think just her character was meant to not be in the film very long. That's just kind of it, right? So let me know what you all think about this in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you want to follow me anywhere else. All of my social media, as always, is in the description below. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you all on the next video.